All right, ladies and welcome back. Sean with Blue Ridge. So it appears that we might have quite the interesting development. Um, if you guys have been kind of scouring eBay lately, there's been some pretty ridiculously obscene looking listings in here that we're going to talk about it. However, I believe that this may not be a far-fetched thing. A far-fetched notion that we may see our real true first post 2000, we're talking 21st century coinage, our first 21st century coin to really hit it big on the secondary market. Now, what exactly does hitting it big mean? We're talking about a coin that could be worth over $25,000, one singular coin. And this is a topic that I've talked about before, that I have continuously supported and pressed a lot of my audience folks, that these are going to be incredibly sought after, incredibly valuable coins real soon. And we're probably already seeing that. But I just so happen to be kind of researching some stuff on eBay. You know, about 6 months ago, I did this video talking about the West Point circulation rarity quarters of 2019 and 2020. I think the big topic there were a few of the raw coins, like the American Memorial Park and one other one that were selling for $40 to $50. And the prices have gone up. And as a result, we're also seeing less good quality secondary market supply of these quarters. Now here we are. We are toward the tail end of March 2022. And I see a number of just really crazy auctions that are hard to ignore. A 2019 West Point quarter, Mint State 68, rarest set of coins of our lifetime, blah, 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 only 3 known sets. Now, this particular individual is asking $165,000. Oh my God. Is he crazy? Yeah. Maybe he's just a little bit crazy, but realistically, he's probably not that far off. The one thing that I did notice, and then we're gonna actually look at the population reports through both PCGS and NGC. Keep in mind the coins that we see here in this listing are all NGC graded Mint State 68 coins. Here's a little bit of a close-up of these quarters in the listing. Obviously, there's no problem with the seller. Okay, pretty good stats there. 2,200 feedback. 99.7% positive feedback. I would trust this guy all day long with a large purchase. But we have the 5 releases for 2019, all graded NGC, Mint State 68, and they don't appear to be early finds or first strikes or anything like that. These were all graded after the fact, but it includes the Lowell National Park that you see there, the American Memorial Park, the Warren Pacific, which is what I have here. Not a 68 though, it's a 67. Let's see, and we also have the San Antonio Missions and the River of No Return, I guess is what that one is. So those are the 5 2019 West Point quarters. Keep in mind that these particular coins don't have the little V75 privy mark like the 2020s. $165,000. Obviously, you can make an offer here at this particular point to try and buy up this set of 5 quarters. Is it a ripoff? Is it a rarity? Is it a legit price? I think it's a little bit on the high side. It's a matter, for a lot of us, considering that these coins are only 3 years removed, it's very expensive. But I want you guys to remember and put this into perspective. Just like from day one, when we first had the conversation about these quarters, even before they were released into circulation, these were going to be something extraordinary. They only had a mintage of 2 million pieces per design. So that's 10 million pieces across the entire year through 5 different designs for that year. Now, some people are going to say, well, that seems like it's quite a bit. Well, 10 million coins sounds like a lot. But when you consider the overall mintage of each specific coin respective to the Philadelphia and Denver mints, you're going to find that those numbers are going to be 30x what the entire run of the West Point Circulation Rarity Quarters is through all 5 designs. 10 million, these quarters had mintages of 200 to 300 million per mint, per Philadelphia mint, per Denver mint for each design. Now, when you put it into that kind of perspective, you're going to find that, yeah, that's quite rare. So let me ask you guys a question, because this is something that's come up on a number of occasions since the release of these quarters from back in 2019 and 2020. How many of you out there, realistically, my viewers today, have had success finding these quarters in change in just the last 3 years? I'm going to raise my hand and say, I've never found a 1. And I go through a lot of rolls, guys. I search through a lot of rolls, including quarters. I don't search through half dollars because I can't get them. But quarters, I search probably the second most out of all the other available denominations. Pennies I go through the most, then quarters, and then nickels, and then dimes. So I can honestly say, out of the many tens of thousands of dollars of quarters that I've personally searched through, I have not, and I have yet to find a West Point quarter. And even if I did, 3 years out from the release of 2019's, more than likely it's going to be a beater. It's not even going to come close to grading out at 68. Now, it takes a very special coin to grade out in a 68. But I just want to make that perfectly clear. The more common grades when these were first issued to PCGS and NGC 2-3 years ago was a median grade of mid-state 65. And you're going to see those numbers here momentarily. The numbers don't lie. The graph is correct. So that's pretty incredible right there. So there's another 5-coin set. Now this is probably more of a reasonable starting figure. I can't even believe I'm saying this right now. So this is also a set of 5. Apparently this is the other one of the other 3 known sets of a mid-state 68 set through NGC of all 5 coins being offered at let's just say $100,000 or best offer. And if we go on down the line here, you're also going to find some pretty other nice stuff. Here's the Frank Church River of No Return. This thing I looked at is an absolutely godliest of coin. Multiple struck, broad struck, error. 1 of 1, as it says. It's the only one that I know of. $40,000. And keep in mind, there's 12 watchers. And some of you are going to ask, are there really buyers for these? Yeah, there is. There's been a few examples. I believe it was like 68 plus or something like that. That sold for around $10,000. And that was about a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. But I had highlighted it on, I don't know if it's a pocket change market report or an MMR. But I talked about that quarter. And actually I reached out to the seller and they said, yeah, we sold it for right around that figure. Now, when we look on down the line here, we have some much better, this is a San Antonio Missions quarter, NGC graded mid-state 68 plus. It's even got this MAC designation, which is kind of like CAC, but only it's for modern coins, I think post 1965 or something like that. $15,900 or best offer. Now, this one right here, obviously, is probably the most realistic listing out of the first 5 that I found, aside from that really crazy looking error. This one right here probably is a $10,000 coin. You guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, but no, really, given the mintage and the survival rate of these coins at the highest grade level, the price is probably justified. Now, the real question is, Sean, are these made to go into collectors' hands? Or, because of the high grade, are these tailored more to that registry set crowd that you like talking about? It could be either or. And the reason why I say that is with the registry set, we're talking about coins with a top pop somewhere in the stratosphere, like Mint State 68 or whatever it is for these ultra moderns, these 21st century coins. They all have pretty high mintages, into hundreds of thousands, or hundreds of millions rather. Whereas this particular coin has a mintage of only 2 million. So there's a pretty big, hefty difference, very substantial difference between one and the other. So all it needs is this one particular coin to sell. And then we could honestly say in today's numismatic economy for 21st century coins, this will probably be the first coin, like a circulating coin, to eclipse $10,000. I think we're almost there because the one previous example sold for like $9,500 or somewhere close to 10, but it wasn't like definitively over $10,000. But a sale of a coin of like this caliber, where it's the highest grade, solo finest for that particular one, I could see that one possibly hitting that 5-figure mark, and that's incredible. Now, as far as the series in itself, I took the liberty of finding out what the best, highest performing listings were of West Point quarters within the last 90 days. And what I did was I went on a website called 130 Point. You can actually see it there on the top left corner of your screen. And I just typed in 2020-W quarter, like you see there. I got 3 different tabs. So we have a lot of 53 quarters. Keep in mind, people were selling these right when they were being found for around $15-20 a piece. This is a 53 coin lot of the Marsh Billings Rockefeller and 2 Weir Farms for $2,366. Here's another 40 coin roll that sold for $12.25 with 6 actual bids. This one was bid up organically. And then coming in at third place during this time period is another 40 coin roll of Tallgrass Prairie 2020 dubs at $1,099. So the market has certainly just exploded for these within the last 6 to 12 months, and it's reflected on the raw sales, or the sales of raw coins rather. 2019's. This one right here tells a little bit of a different story. These aren't, when it comes to like kind of like average coins or raw coins, the 2019 West Points aren't as valuable to the marketplace as the 2020 Ws. So we have this one here. There's a 85 count of Mint State 65 West Point graded quarters, all 2019 dated, sold for $1,739. It seems like a bargain. But Mint State 65 is a very plentiful grade if you're looking to pick up some of these. Here's a lot of 43, just kind of like a random assortment mix. $623 was a best offer accepted price. They were originally asking $1,200. And then right here, I don't know what this is, 123 count West Point quarters for $992. And this one was bid up through regular auction format. So 4 bids total equaled $992. So obviously we have a very healthy market with these quarters, more so the 2020s. So am I talking out of my hoo-ha or what? Well, when we go and look at the population reports, you're going to see some pretty interesting numbers. Okay, so we're just going to focus on the lines here. This is 2019 with the W's. So 2019 W, War in the Pacific. Actually, if we went back a little bit, we could go check out Lowell first. That was the very first release. So if we go all the way to the right, you're going to find that the highest grade is Mid-State 68, in which only 2 examples are known. I don't think either of those have had a public sale because the pricing is not showing on the PCGS price guide. Now, these are PCGS graded coins, ladies and gentlemen. If you look here on the right, this is the total amount of coins graded, 10,127 pieces. And you're going to find the top amount is that Mid-State 65. So I was true there in determining that Mid-State 65 was kind of like the giant kind of like peak of the mountain, so to speak. And then grades beyond that, it tailed off. But when I had done this video about 6 months ago, I said to the effect of, if you were looking to invest in these quarters, I would focus on the grades that are on the tail end of the curve. Okay, where the populations are very light, they're very small, yet they're still somewhat obtainable. In this particular case, for the Lowell, I probably would have aimed for either Mid-State 66 plus with a population of 16 or the Mid-State 67. At the time, you would have been able to grab this quarter for right around $300 to $500. Today, this quarter is approaching $1,000 in Mid-State 67. Things have changed quite a bit. Let's see. We haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to show you guys my quarter. I have 4 of these, but I have one here to show you. 2019 West Point American Memorial Park. You'll see that the top grade is Mid-State 67 plus. There are no known 68s as of yet. So Mid-State 67 plus is the top grade. I would imagine that would be a really expensive coin if one did come out into the marketplace. But if you looked, the coin that I would invest in would be just straight up a Mid-State 67. Here's the San Antonio Missions, which some would say is the most plentiful quarter in Mid-State 67. Is not the top hop. The top hop is actually 68. There are 20 of those available in that grade. So that one is the most plentiful at the highest grade level. War in the Pacific, which is what I have here. This is a Mid-State 67. So this one right here has a population in 67 at 370. So it's a decent number, but still quite scarce because look at Mid-State 65. It's pretty high here, but the top pop is 68 at only 5 pieces. And then finally for 2019, we have the Frank Church River of No Return. The top grade is 67 plus at only 2. And then kind of to summarize the 2020s, American Samoa, Mid-State 67 is the highest grade at 50 pieces. Tallgrass Prairie, Mid-State 68, one example known in PCGS grade. Weir Farm, 34 pieces and 67 is the highest grade. Let's see, Salt River Bay. There are one example in a 68. One sole lone example in a 68. My God, that thing must be a beast. And then finally, the Marsh Billings Rockefeller, 24 pieces and 67, with none higher. This quarter right here, the War in the Pacific, I bought for about 190 bucks. And I bought a number of them about 5-6 months ago when I had done my last video, because I had shown you guys one of these coins. It might have been the same one, I'm not sure. And I bought them for around under 200, right around 200. I think I paid like 205 for another one. These right here are a lot more expensive. I believe these are like 300 to 350 bucks as of this taping. I might be wrong, but these have gone up. I haven't been able to touch these for the same prices I was buying them from. So that kind of gives you a little bit of insight on the overall market movement of these quarters. Now, before I let you guys go, we are going to take a look at NGC because the coins that we did look at on those eBay listings were indeed NGC graded coins. So right here, this line, 2019 W Lowell's highest grade is a 68 at 26 pieces. Sorry, again, my head's kind of in the way of the graph here, but Mid-State 68 is the highest grade at 26 graded. And if we continue on down the line to the next one, American Memorial Park, we have 21 in a 68. That's the highest grade for that one. And War in the Pacific is 161. There was quite a few of those graded in a 68, therefore making it kind of like the economy example out of the 2019 bunch. Then coming up next, we have the San Antonio Missions. This is interesting. This is the one and only coin with a known mint state 69 grade. That one, I believe, had just a micro glimpse of the secondary market, and I think the person that listed it pulled it off. But he or she was asking like $60,000. That particular coin is an anomaly. I would imagine that coin is probably the most priceless out of the bunch because it is a top pop of the entire series. It's going to be interesting. If that one ever sells, it's going to be a monster coin. That one probably would be about a $50,000 coin. I know you guys think I'm crazy. But again, scarcity, rarity with the high grade, and the fact that this was a circulating coin. Okay, this was nothing that you could have bought directly from the mint as a really nice looking coin, like out of a mint set. These were clanging and banging along with other quarters in from different batches. So these coins were not intended to come out as a 69, let alone a 68. So that's the San Antonio Missions, and then finally for the West Point 2019s, the River of No Return. This one's quite light, 9 pieces in a 68. It's interesting. But you can see, again, the same trend, my friend, between NGC and PCGS is the highest peak of the mountain of the populations of these quarters are in 65 grade, which helps kind of support what I'm saying here is that these coins had an average grade of mint state 65, and then they tailed off from there, which makes these quite an interesting rarity in grades above mint state 66. Even to this day, if you could still pick up mint state 67 and higher of these of these coins, these are going to be a fantastic not only investment, but they're going to hold their value for a long time because there's nothing else like this. There's been no news from the mint about a revised or a revisit of a circulation rarity coin of any type that's going to be coming out of the mint, which will make these kind of a fable in numismatics for many years to come. I could see like 50 years later on down the road, our future numismatists are going to go back and talk about these circulation rarity quarters as kind of a rarity. And, you're going to probably hear people finding these in circulation still, but they're going to be beat up, and even those coins are going to have value. But this is a very interesting topic of conversation because there's a lot more publicity with these big giant auction listings that people are just sitting there and watching like a hawk. Which one is going to tap first, right? It's going to be interesting to see how these coins move in the next 24 months on average, I would say. In 2 years, that's going to give us a really nice kind of temperature check on the overall market kind of stability of these coins. Is it legit a rarity and one that, definitely deserves a 5-figure price tag? We could only tell. But as of right now, even in this market, these coins are extremely coveted. They're still being picked up, especially in mid-state condition. If you could find little lots here and there or at a coin shop, I would highly encourage you, as long as you're not going to overpay for them, to possibly pick up a few and hedge your portfolio with these items. They're going to look really good with all the other, like PMs and various other things that you have going on in there. But that's what I wanted to talk about. This is a very, very kind of like out in left field topic. One that deserves and commands not only our attention, but a little bit of respect as well. Because I think there's a lot of people that when they went and they searched and they found all these quarters, and there were people, ladies and gentlemen, that found these in massive quantities. A lot of people took the easy free road and then they just went and sold them. They sold them for $20 a piece, $25 a piece, $15 a piece. At the time, it was really good money, especially if you're able to make 60 times face value on these things. It's kind of hard to say no. But in retrospect, when we look out 24, 36 months from the first initial drop of the first quarter, we could all understand and say, yeah, I probably should have kept more than I gave away. You know, because call me crazy, if you ended up finding 2, 3, 4, 100 of these things, it's going to make a pretty good argument for a nice little retirement egg. It really will. I know it sounds far-fetched, but given the overall just the enhancement of the value of these coins, they're not going to stop. People are going to continuously want to acquire some of the highest grade level pieces, and then that's going to just, that's going to do to the market. It's going to dry up the existing supply that you see out there, and it's going to make the prices shoot up into the stratosphere. Just you wait and see. This is probably the one spec that I feel very comfortable in sharing with you with absolutely no remorse whatsoever, because there are certain things that we talk about are like, yeah, I'm not sure that you guys should invest in this because I think it's a drop. Or, yeah, you should invest in it, but I'm really not sure. These quarters, I am 100% sure that they're just going to be a really good speculation piece. If you could get a hold of them, not saying that time is running out, but supply is drying up by a huge margin. That's why I wanted to talk about today. Sorry to keep the video so long, but this one certainly deserved a nice talking point this evening. Thank you guys again for all your views and support. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. It was a pleasure talking to you about West Point Circulation Rarity Quarters. One of my favorite topics, bar none. We are going to revisit this topic, I would say, in about 12 months, and just kind of do a quick little check-in. Are these things performing as well as I'm saying they are? Or are we beginning to see these coins slip in the marketplace? I'm more kind of like on the side of, my first comment. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys next time. Coinaholics, we are discovery together. You guys take care.